Good morning, everybody. It's Dave Waters. It's May 17th, 2026. It seems like it might be a nice day today. It's warming up. Yesterday got warm, and the next couple of days, it went from cold and miserable to hot. And then after a couple more days, it looks like we're going to be like in the 60s again. So, it's that time of year. Um, Yesterday, I just want to share something. I went for a long ride. I headed north. I went through Speculator, I went through Indian Lake, Long Lake, Tupper Lake. I ended up in Mount Arab. Mount Arab is a very special place for me in my life. I did write about it in my book. Um, as a child from the mid 60s to the mid 70s, Dad, Mom, our family. Dad built a camp. I assisted, but Dad built it. I was just a kid back then. Thought I helped, but I probably was in the way more than I helped. But anyway, the camp was on the other side of the lake, and the only way we could get there is by boat. So everything we built, we floated across that lake to build that camp. And that was quite the mission. But anyway, I was the barefoot kid that ran all over the wilderness up there. I was in heaven. And I learned a lot about life back then. It humbled me. It kind of lit my fire back in the day. But real life took over, and back home and back in the growing up. Well, that's what Rebelline Victory is about. It's my journey and our journey. But anyway, today, as you know, I'm glad you're here, and I'm Dave Waters. And there are people walking around us. There are people today who were once full of fire. I kind of am again, but I could tell you there was a period where my fire went out. And I think, you know what I mean. But anyway, people who are full of fire, talented, trusted, just excited about life. I'm kind of there again, but I don't know. There's a lot of enemies and different things and hidden evils. But anyway, somewhere along the journey, criticism, jealousy, betrayal, rejection, or just something else, insecurity, slowly convinced them to shrink themselves or shrink myself. Been there. You're on top of the world and things are great and things fall apart, and then you turn another chapter into your life and things just didn't seem to happen the way you wanted to. I'm deeply into writing the second book. This past week, I just spent literally hours and hours bringing back some of those issues that they're meant for sharing with everybody. But not because of lack of ability, not because they weren't worthy, but about something that about sometimes the loud voices around us come from people who are afraid. They're afraid of what they might become. So you got somebody that's, sees your abilities and they're afraid. So they do whatever they can to try to diminish, hurt you. Like belittling, knocking you down. They see your potential, but they don't want you to succeed because they're afraid. They're afraid. Sometimes you don't see that. I didn't see it. And the hardest part is many of those wounds, they don't come from strangers. They come from people close enough to reach your heart. I'm not saying family, but, I'll leave that up to you. What I'm describing and what I'm describing happens to everybody. Not everybody, but it happens to a lot of people every day. A person rises, a dream begins, the momentum builds, and somewhere in the shadows, a negative seed gets planted. Sometimes it changes the outcome. Sometimes it doesn't. But either way, it leaves a mark. Yet, here's the powerful part of here's the powerful part of your story, my story, our story. You didn't quit because who you are. You're still standing, still dreaming, still encouraging others, still building, still believing in people, still trying to bring the light into the communities and into hearts. That matters. That matters more than you realize. Because many people who were knocked down never found the strength to get back up. You did. I did. But there were many that didn't. And maybe this chapter wasn't about losing that opportunity. Maybe it was about proving to yourself that that fire inside still exists. You walked into the room with hope again. You believe again. And alone, actually, that alone is victory. The right door never needed someone else's permission. The right door never needed someone else's permission to open. And the people who try to diminish others usually reveal more about their own fears than the person they are seeking or speaking against. Think about that. People who try to diminish others usually reveal more about their own fears than people they're speaking against. A strong person inspires others. An insecure person tries to reduce them. But life has a strange way of revealing truth over time. The people meant to walk with you will see your heart. They will feel the sincerity. They will recognize your vision. And no planted seed from the past will be strong enough to stop what generally matters to you. Your story's not about defeat. It's about resilience. It's about every person who was underestimated, every person who sat in their car questioning their truth, every person who almost gave up because someone else made them feel small. And that's about turning the page. That's about turning the page anyway and go forward. Because sometimes the greatest comeback isn't revenge. It's becoming whole again. I love you. Take care. Have a great week.